There are a few names that come to mind when the topic of Imperial aces come up. Soontir Fel and Merrick Steele chief among them. Today we're going to talk about someone else who comes up in that pantheon, who may be a bit less prominent in the fandom, but who's still among the best pilots the galaxy had to offer, Shea Hublin. Hublin was born around 35 years before the Battle of Yavin, or BBY, on the mid-rim world of Talcine along the Perlemian trade route, an urban world known for its competitive commerce guilds and little else. He grew up racing swoop bikes, and as the Clone Wars raged on, he hoped to prove his skills as a pilot by enlisting in the Republic Navy to fight the Separatists. He only had time to complete 5 months of flight school before the end of the war, and was distraught that the surrender robbed him of his chance to fly in actual combat. Luckily for him though, the Empire had no shortage of enemies to fight over the next 2 decades, including Separatist holdouts, pirates, and rebels. He was assigned to a V-Wing in the 77th Air Wing on board the Star Destroyer Destrier to do just that along the Great Grand Run between the planets Kinyan and Syria. After 2 years, in 17 BBY, Destrier became part of the Western Reach's Superiority Force. This force, led by Admirals Trayton Teradok, future warlord, and Banage Holt, a side character from a prominent Naxos family, and who had spent the previous year fighting under Wolf Yularen, was established to assist Will of Tarkin bring control over the Western Reaches, a large area in the galactic southwest, which still was home to a large amount of separatist sentiment and strongholds. Hublin first garnered public attention during the assault on the Citadel of Axis on Kelrodo I, a planet known for its gelatin mines, which had been a separatist stronghold itself. In this battle, Hublin, leading the V-Wings known as Sword Squadron, took heavy losses but was able to bring down the planetary shield, opening up the planet for a ground assault. His success here, combined with his photogenic looks, made him the perfect literal poster boy for Imperial propaganda. He was often used on recruitment posters and other such media. He continued to gain victory after victory in the Western Reaches, appearing in holoreels the whole time, establishing a new tradition among trainee pilots of waggling their wings after a kill to emulate Hublin. Much of the territory captured in these campaigns became part of the greater Seswenna sector, and then, under Tarkin's suggestions for military and political reorganization, over Sector Outer, which was comprised of most of the Outer Rim, including Tarkin's home planet of Ariadu, and was under Tarkin's command. Hublin gained a prominent place in this changing organization, where he initially served as the Air Marshal for the Greater Seswenna sector, and became a Marquis on Ariadu. He even married Eris Aero, Eris being an heiress to one of 5 ruling houses on Ariadu. Yes, this rich family named their daughter Eris, even though it's spelled differently than Eris. He continued being the face of Imperial pilots in the region for the next 4 years, but in the Battle of Vale in 13 BBY, he lost an eye and a leg, leading to his wife encouraging him to retire from life as a pilot. He instead began commanding his fighters from the bridge of a Star Destroyer, Cabalian Cross, where he earned the title the Rebel Destroyer. Despite these victories and the personal sacrifices he made, he began to lose some favor with the Empire's political and military elite with his criticism of TIE fighters. He was personally a strong proponent of phasing out TIE fighters and instead using something that was a bit more durable and had shielding. Although he was somewhat cast aside and had a fall from grace with this, he continued eagerly serving his new home of Ariadu. When Tarkin died and Artus Kane took over as the Moff over Sector Outer, he relocated the capital from Ariadu to Bastion and requested that Hublin join him. Hublin refused and insisted on serving from Ariadu. After Endor, Hublin returned to service as a fighter pilot in a TIE Interceptor directly rather than commanding from Cabalian Cross's bridge, fighting for Superior General Sandor Dalvardis' Ariadu authority. The nobility, including Hublin, objected to Dalvardis' plan of conquering other territories, particularly towards the core, hoping instead to just defend Ariadu against the rebels. He'd intended to abandon Dalvardis, but grudgingly came to his defense against Cien Sav at Sullust. Even with Hublin's help, the Ariadu authority was destined to fall, and Hublin's squadron itself was destroyed at Smrafsix, where he openly broadcast Ariadu indoors before being killed himself. That's going to do it for our video on Shea Hublin though. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see me cover on the channel in the future, leave those in the comments, and consider leaving a like and subscribing for more. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.